Hi guys, I'm Yuna. Today I will share with you how to choose a protection board. The choice of the protection board depends on the motor power. Because the motor power P equals I times V, our motor power P and voltage V are both determined, so we can choose the current based on these two. There is no problem. The continuous current of our protection board should be greater than the rated current of the motor. Peak current should also be greater than the motor's start peak. This is a commonly used table. Choose according to rated voltage. For ternary lithium iron, how many strings of cells are needed? When choosing a protection board, we can directly according to our battery. How many strings of cells it uses, we can choose the protection board with the same number. For the selection of current, full power batteries, we can use this formula to judge it. Dividing the rated power of the motor by the nominal voltage and multiply it by a 25 times margin is the continuous current of the protection board. Of course, the 25 times margin is not fixed. You can choose a smaller margin. Choose a smaller 2 times margin or triple margin, which is also fine. This formula can also be used to calculate the peak power of our motor. This calculates the peak power of the motor. Then you don't need to multiply it by the margin. How to use this formula? Here is an example. If the rated power of your motor is 4,500 watts and your rated voltage is 72 volts, then you can calculate it like this. 4,500 watts divided by 7, which is 62.5 amps. Let's take an integer 60 amps times 2.5 times the margin, which is 150 amps. Then we can choose a 150 amp protection board with a continuous current. For the selection of energy storage battery will be a little different. This formula is used in the selection of the protection board for the energy storage battery. We can use the rated power of the inverter divided by our nominal voltage and multiply it by 1.3 times to get the continuous. Of course, the 1.3 times margin is not fixed. You can choose according to your own situation. You can directly use this 1 times or 1.5 times of the margin. If you calculate the inverter's peak power, if you calculate the peak power of the then there is no need to add more margin. How to use this formula? Let's use an example to show you how to use it. If the rated power of your inverter is 1,400 watts and your nominal voltage is 24 volts, then you can calculate it like this. 1,400 watts divided by equals 58.3 amps. Let's take an integer 60 amps times 1.3 times the margin is 80 amps. Here we choose 80 amps. Protection board with continuous current is enough. Power battery, because its application scenarios are very complex. So we give more margin, which is higher and higher. Okay, that's all for today's sharing. If you have any questions about choosing, have some questions, you can contact me or leave a message below.